are so rude here. The hospitality is trash.
A bitch could get slapped real fast.
If I could offer you one piece of advice for you as a non-New Orleanian visiting the city, New Orleanian women are very polite. They very sweet. Got a cool-ass accent, you heard me? However, that is not the group of people that you should say a bitch can get slapped. That's not the group of people you should say that to.
Y'all, I commented on this girl picture and I DM'd her.
So if you come to the city and you having a bad time, baby, it might be you.
Bitch, I believe you. I'm sure you did come across a lot of rude attitudes and some nasty people. Like, this is not Disneyland.
If you came to New Orleans and did not have a good time, it's most likely that you just don't know how to plan a trip.
But we gotta be honest. Some of these hoes that live in New Orleans got fucked up ass attitudes.
So the young lady that was talking about New Orleans was boring, New Orleans this, New Orleans that, New Orleans this, New Orleans that. Come to the front of the stage.
T. Deja from Chicago said New Orleans hospitality and tourism is terrible. And of course, the city of New Orleans clapped back. Now, a lot of people from New Orleans said fair is fair and Deja's review is her review and it's understandable. But it was her friend that said somebody could get slapped that set it off.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not liking the hospitality in New Orleans. Like, they are so rude here. The hospitality is trash.
A bitch could get slapped real fast. Hello?
Like, I hate it so bad. And, like, the women here are, like, terrible. Like, freaking the meanest looks out here, and I don't like it. Like, since we've been here, it don't matter what we've been at, we just been getting terrible service, like, on every fucking thing. And I don't know. This just give me a vibe like, well, I don't want to come back here.
So after Deja let her friend hop on camera and say somebody could get slapped, Deja turned around and said, and the women here are terrible, basically generalizing all New Orleans women. That's when her comment section began to get hectic and TikToks began to be made. Once Deja reached the MSY airport for her return flight to Chicago, she then began to respond to comments via video.
I'm gonna just use this comment just to address all the comments. First and foremost, like, y'all in these comments acting like we said we were gonna slap you. Like, y'all taking that real too personal for me. And I don't know. And then on top of that, y'all said something y'all don't want to mess with a NOLA girl. Do you not know I'm from Chicago? Boo, be so for real right now. I can't take them serious. But I just want to give y'all a couple of examples of, like, what we went through while we was out here. So, like, for example, we went to the French market, and I was trying to buy something, you know, to take some souvenirs home. And I had went up to this one stand, and they would not get off the phone to service me. Then we went to Front Row last night, and basically, like, the girl who was, like, the server were giving us, like, you know, hookah, and they had, like, was separating a table because, like, the people that was there, they wasn't using the table, so they had separated to give us a table for us to sit down. And so, like, we coming in, we vibing, we smiling and stuff like that, and, like, the girls that were sitting at the table was just, like, evil eyeing us, and, like, even the server was like, I don't know what's to them. this is just like small little examples I can give y'all that we went through while we were out here.
So we just heard Deja say that she didn't understand why everybody in her comment section that was from New Orleans took the slapping comment so serious. Chicago and New Orleans are alike in many different ways. However, it's this one difference that people from around the world admire about us. When one come, we all coming. We love our city, we hate our city, but we love our city and we gonna defend our city. So that's why they took the slapping comment so seriously. Now Deja did rate her eating experience in New Orleans and the rates look about right to me. It seems as though Deja really enjoyed the food of New Orleans for the most part. A lot of people were on Deja's side with her reviews, but it was just the slapping comment that threw everything off for everybody, and now we know why. Let's see what else she had to say.
This is the last time I'm gonna make something about this video because y'all think y'all eating these comments and y'all really not. Y'all not finna tell me on how my experience was up in NOLA. Y'all not finna do that. One thing about me and my friends, when we go somewhere, we gonna be a vibe, we gonna be turned up, we gonna be ready to drink, party, and wanna socialize. But we were not giving that energy when we was out there. And y'all not finna tell me that we got that energy or motherfuckers reciprocated energy that we were giving out. One thing about me and my friends is we be turned up, lit, and always out and ready to have a good time. So again, I did not like the hospitality that I received when I was out there. So I'm gonna need y'all to chill out real quick. So let me give y'all like another little example that we went through while we was out there. So we had went to a restaurant. I'm not gonna name the restaurant. And we had a waiter and he was coming over, wanted to take our drink order. At the moment, we had just sat down, so we wasn't sure what we wanted. So we was like, can you just bring us some waters? So he had left, he came back, brought the waters, and then we asked, could we get some lemon for our water? And so he got an attitude and was like, is anything you want me to get? I'm not gonna keep walking my fat ass back to the back. And we like, what? And he like, yeah, is there anything else y'all want? Because I'm not gonna keep walking my fat ass back there. Is you cool? Like, what the fuck? And then y'all in these comments think y'all threaten somebody. Boo, ask about a Chicago girl and then get back to me.
Now, baby, the story about the waiter took me clean out because that sounds just like a person from New Orleans trying to be funny, but you don't get the joke and you don't think it's funny because you're not from here. Granted, he shouldn't have never did that because he should have just did what the customer wanted him to do. It's a time and a place for everything. Now, once I ain't see no tripping out or tripping going on, I already knew you might have not been having a good time because, baby, this the city of trip out. We got the whole world tripping out. Shout out to Teezy and Subsweet Sean for rebranding this decades-long dance. The dance was originally known as Pop That D Up for Decades by Sissy Novi. Also, when I ain't see no tripping, stumbling videos, I say she might not be having a good time. Shout out to the duo Fresh and Reckless, who's also from New Orleans, that created this trend years ago. And now other people are using it as the tripping trend.
Top it like I see you, boy. a lot, I see your point.
But let's go ahead and hear what the city had to say from the comments to the actual TikTok videos that were made. Too much tea. Mr. Nola says, keep in mind, and I'm just putting you on game, you from Chicago, you not in Chicago. The chicks here are like the crazy dudes here. They be wildin', but you did lead the comment with shade. Shabbat Salam says, you lead with addressing the hospitality of a community, not a few encounters. That's why the community snapped back. You failed to anticipate the responses. Deja responded and said, and the hospitality as the community was terrible in my opinion, but you have a good day, boo. Aquarius wife says, now girl, it was the slapping somebody for me. You were in the quarters where they barely speak fluent English, and comparing them to a culture is crazy. Yeah, stand Chi Town where it's windy. Shabazz Alam came back and said, as a reminder, when you come for one or a few NOLA people, there's a whole tribe behind them. As you fly back home safely, please rest assured your return to our wonderful city isn't needed. And Deja laughed. Young said, it's like they know. I'm from Detroit and I experienced it every day living here. User says, sorry you went through that. I visited Chicago and in the hood on South Carpenter and the people weren't nice. We stayed at a hotel on Michigan Drive at the Hilton and it was a vibe, so it's everywhere. Loso says, y'all should have went to Chow or Hide and Seek last night. Certain places have different vibes. Icy Cole says, I got the vibe in 2 different places in September and I'm from Mobile. Girl, get ready for Mardi Gras. That's what you could do, because you know that's the argument that's about to take place in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gia says, 2 encounters don't mean the whole city. And being from Chicago don't mean nothing. Nobody out here scared of y'all, which you should know by now. Nurse D says, what does that mean when people say they're from a certain city? Be for real with yourself. Y'all not about that life. Them girls would have walked y'all hoes tall. Be real with yourself. Creole Mama says, y'all want better hospitality? Stop standing around Canal and the quarters. Those workers are tired of tourists for real. Go somewhere local, especially if you're black. Felicia says, girl, I am from New Orleans and I still live here. They all rude. Y'all are not lying for no reason. Makia says, I'm from New Orleans and I know for a fact down here has some places with horrible customer service. Buki responded and said they have bad customer service everywhere. The first video she made, Fat, didn't lead with that. Makia said, okay, let me go see the videos. Sis says, girl, you could have been from wherever you wanted to be from, but do not play with the NOLA girls. Big facts. Belle says, there's a lot of events going on in this city this weekend and this week. Who's to say that the girls you ran into were from New Orleans? They may not have even been from here either. V says, you being from Chicago is supposed to be a flex. Jaya Ray says, girl, don't come back and don't try to come for Mardi Gras either. Deja said, am I supposed to cry? Ash said, just don't come back, love. Thanks. The Nail Truth Seller says, New Orleans is alive. It's spiritual. So whatever you carry will find you here. It's you and your intentions. T says, New Orleans is 3 times more dangerous than Chicago. Chicago's population is more or about the same as the entire state of Louisiana. I traveled to Chicago and felt fine walking around. I would never walk around in New Orleans. Nate says, saying you from Chicago ain't scaring nobody out here. Trust the females are more ninja than the ninjas. Glad y'all left in one piece though. Deja said we was gonna be good regardless. Trust. Bree says you should have said what areas you were in, not the whole city, because baby, when you come, all come, and that's that. Jess K. Mills says all those people in the French market are foreigners. People are not from New Orleans. They're not local. Sorry you had that bad experience. Noir Queen says, I apologize for the level of service you received. A lot of those places you named are in the French Quarter and they're being ran by people that are not from New Orleans, so that could be a part of it for the most part. We are very hospitable here. Come back. Don't let this one trip define New Orleans. Ash says, you being from Chicago means nothing. We observe. If your energy seems off, we're going to match it. We are so sweet and kind though, but very conniving. Now, Ashley girl, you conniving. Don't put that on us. Zelly says, girl, one thing about them people in New Orleans, they don't play about their city. Blue Moon Sky says, why she didn't tell us where she was at so she could be greeted properly. Chef Tudor says, Keatley said we #1 and y'all don't matter. Renee Jackson said, killing myself laughing. I'm from Chicago. Deja commented to the whole section's thread and said, and no, my whole experience wasn't like this, but majority of it was. She also went on to say, being this upset about something is crazy when y'all simply could have said, oh, I'm sorry you didn't have a good experience. Everywhere, everybody isn't like that.
Let me tell y'all a short story. I'm scrolling down my TL. I see some girl talking about how she's not having a good time in New Orleans. The girls in New Orleans are so this and that. We rude. Not me personally, but in general, New Orleans girls so rude. New Orleans people so rude. The hospitality is not what it's all cracked up to be and what people say it is. Mind you, y'all, I commented on this girl picture and I DM'd her. But I did just look on her page and realize she's leaving the city. So I was like, because I had invited her. I'm like, girl, look, today is Saint Sunday. Even though we might lose the game on some, like, you can literally come out and I will personally show you a good time. I promise you, it's not that deep. But I'm convinced people like her, and then I tried to stitch her video, but of course, stitch off. People like her literally tried to soil the name of New Orleans. But one thing about it, New Orleans is the best city. It's gonna keep being the best city, and y'all gonna keep hating Miss Chicago. No offense to nobody from Chicago though.
So the young lady that was talking about New Orleans was boring, New Orleans this, New Orleans that, New Orleans this, New Orleans that, come to the front of the stage. So there's a few things I want you to know about my city, right? New Orleans has its own soul. Definitely has its own soul, okay? New Orleans is alive. New Orleans has its own heartbeat. You feel me? New Orleans is a mirror. You get what you give to New Orleans, okay? So if you out here and you not having a good time, it's time for you to do some self-reflection, because the city only showing you what it's seeing in you. You feel me? All right.
This is just a reminder, if you are coming for any of the festivities for the Super Bowl in New Orleans next year, please understand New Orleans is alive, okay? And what I mean by that statement is she feels energy. So if you come to the city and you having a bad time, baby, it might be you. No other city is like that. Any other city, if you go to the city, you have a bad time, it's probably because some shit went wrong. New Orleans, though, she don't miss. She don't miss. She's like, anybody who doesn't belong here, you ain't gonna stay long. You gonna come one time, never come back. You not gonna. New Orleans, she's alive, okay? And I know, some people don't believe in like voodoo and hoodoo and all that other shit, but New Orleans does not miss. That's why when people are like, oh, I hate New Orleans, I can't stand New Orleans. Well, what you got going on? What you got in that closet of yours? Because New Orleans, if you're a good person, oh my God, you're going to love the city. You love New Orleans. It's hard to leave New Orleans. You're stuck. Okay, because it is a warm hug. All right, you got the food. Everybody, your mammy, your grandmama, your cousin, your pa, everybody, your parent. It's just. Oh my God. Like I can't get enough. But yeah, if you a shitty person, best believe you will have a shitty time.
Said she came to New Orleans on her friends. She said our hospitality was shitty. She was like, people was rude, XYZ, whatever. Now, granted, I feel like we have one of the best cities with hospitality, or the best states in general. I'm gonna count Louisiana on this one as a whole, right? But to each his own. Like, that's her fucking experience. Like, y'all are really chewing this girl up. She had to literally make a post and say her experience is her experience. Don't get me wrong, they just got people that do just be hating on our city, y'all. But we gotta be honest. Some of these hoes that live in New Orleans got fucked up ass attitudes. They bitter. They hating, especially if the girls was cute and looked good. I'm not surprised if they came across a hating ass female. So I don't want to discredit them for saying what they felt and what their experience was when it comes to the hospitality in New Orleans. Now, do I wish they would have probably went to like a more mature establishment? Because the places that she named was like the trendy hip or whatever. And we all know, like I said, some of these hoes in this city is hating ass hoes. So, I mean, girl, don't let the people wrestle you up. Now, I do come for my city and I wrestle people down for my city and talking about my city. But I'm going to let you have that one because I do understand what you're talking about.
See that video of that girl that's visited New Orleans and she said our hospitality is trash, everybody rude, and she had a bad experience and she'll never come back. Bitch, I believe you. I'm sure you did come across a lot of rude attitudes and some nasty people. Like, This is not Disneyland. Why are you surprised that everybody in the world is not professional? I'm sorry it happened to you, Faye. But the truth of the matter is, everywhere you go, they're going to have people that's not hospitable. But as the city in total, bitch, we got that hospitality on lock. What is you saying? The New Orleans women is just so mean, and everybody mean mugging her and all that. Girl, I seen you. You look like everybody else. Why is they putting you out of everybody? Saying, oh yeah, they look like they from out of town. We about to fuck with these hoes. Girl, nobody is paying you no mind, no attention. That's just all in your head. So the friend that said a bitch could get slapped. Sister, let me see you slap somebody. For real, no. All jokes aside, bitch, burn them out and then slap them. Y'all keep commenting saying, don't mess with a New Orleans girl. I'm from Chicago. Bitch, but you in New Orleans. I'm glad you posted this from the airport, Faith, because you would have been on the Key Carver show, bitch.
What's crazy about New Orleans is when you have an argument with somebody, you pretty much got to kill them. And the reason why is New Orleans is one of them situations where they don't care who you with or where you at or what you into. When I catch you, I'm going to kill you. I don't care who with you. They shouldn't have been with you. And that's what I think is real up about my city.
Came to New Orleans and did not have a good time, it's most likely that you just don't know how to plan a trip. People will be like, I didn't like that it was dirty. Okay, then why did you choose to spend the entire time in the French Quarter? If you did an ounce of research, you would know that tourists come here and trash the French Quarter. That's why it's so dirty. Like, just spend time in a different part of the city. Or they'll be like, the food wasn't good, but they only went to restaurants that are highly rated by tourists like Oceana Grill or Moro's. The culinary scene here is crazy good, but if you're only chasing after jambalaya and gumbo, yeah, you might not have the best experience. I felt really unsafe in New Orleans. Hot take, I think people who say that they don't feel safe in New Orleans are afraid of Black people. Let me be clear, I'm talking specifically about people where they'll be like, I was really scared in New Orleans. And I'm like, did something happen to you? Did someone rob you? No, I was just scared, girl. If you're afraid of Black people, don't come to New Orleans because you should have known it's a predominantly Black city. Just do your research before visiting somewhere, or you can also download my cheat sheet.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not liking the hospitality in New Orleans. Like, they are so rude here. The hospitality is trash.
A bitch could get slapped real fast.
Hey, love. Look, I'm not going to come on here and be combative with you or argumentative with you or anything like that. However, I am curious to know, what New Orleans did you go to? Because the New Orleans that I know and love, the New Orleanians that I know and love, particularly the ones that work in the service industry, are a lot of things, but rude, inhospitable, unwelcoming is not it. You hear me? Like, not only that, I watched this video and I'm pretty certain, I'm actually 99.9% sure that you recorded that video at the Front Row Art Lounge over on Elysian Field in St. Claus, 1030 Elysian Fields to be specific. Baby, had you just went 5 minutes down the road on St. Claude Avenue this past Sunday, you could have witnessed something that is not only unique to New Orleans, but that is world renowned. You could have witnessed a second line where there's a bunch of people singing together, dancing together, eating food, drinking, vibes. Just a good time. Everybody, enjoying each other's time. Number Black people. You hear me? 5 minutes down the road. Had you went about 5 minutes further up the street, hung a right on a net, you could have went got a plate from Joe Jackson. Shout out to the real Joe Jackson on Instagram, by the way. Not only was he going to give you some good food, he was going to make you laugh, probably make your day with some of the shit he was going to tell you. Had you went further up St. Claude, again, about another 4 or 5 minutes, hung a right on Esplanade, drove down for about 20 seconds, pulled over at Little Dizzy's Cafe, you could have had, again, amazing food, amazing customer service, great people, Black people, 4th generation run. Matter of fact, love, if you'd have just went right next door to where you was at in broad daylight, if you'd have went right next door to the Front Row Art Lounge, to Baldwin and Company, which is a Black-owned coffee shop and bookstore, amazing service, good people, good vibes, good atmosphere. I'm curious to know, what New Orleans was you in? Because again, that can't be the same New Orleans that I know and that I love. It cannot be. Oh, and one last thing. If I could offer you one piece of advice for you as a non-New Orleanian visiting the city. New Orleans women are very polite. They very sweet. Got a cool ass accent, you heard me? However, that is not the group of people that you should say a bitch can get slapped. That's not the group of people you should say that to. And I'ma just leave that at that. Combative towards who? See, there's a couple of things I think we need to acknowledge. One, I think most people are just scared of confrontation. Secondly, I think there's a lot of people that are too used to seeing others never stand up for themselves, never stand up for no type of principle, or just never allowing disrespect. You know what I mean? That's not the case in New Orleans. New Orleans just don't rock like that. You feel me? Not only that, even though New Orleans is a tourist city, no doubt about it, imagine being in a neighborhood where tourists come to your neighborhood, they leave trash all over the place, they rowdy, they rude to the neighbors, they disrespectful to the neighborhood, to the community. Like I said, they leave trash all over the place, they piss all over the place. You hear me? Not only that, when y'all go to these restaurants, these bars, these clubs, these hotels, and y'all toe up drunk, and y'all talking to people any kind of way, y'all got to understand that them people that y'all just being all rowdy and drunk with, them is real people. Them is everyday people. People that's trying to earn a living for themselves and for their family. You know what I mean? And like, everybody not just going to take you talking to them any kind of way. That's just a fact. That's a fact. I don't know how that gets perceived as being combative, but that's just the truth of the matter. The people that y'all seeing working inside of these hotels, these restaurants, oftentimes they working 2 and 3 jobs. They stressed out trying to raise their family. You know what I mean? They got a lot going on, but y'all don't see that. Y'all don't see that at all. Y'all just come in there drunk, say something crazy to somebody and think everything go be peach afterwards. No. No. That ain't how stuff work.
I don't know who need to hear this, but baby, the holidays might be over for y'all, but not for New Orleans. The Mardi Gras is coming and the Super Bowl, bitch, we about to have a time. Ooh, we about to have a fucking time. Listen, I'm just letting y'all know, my city is where you need to be come February and fucking March. Clock that fucking T. I'm about to be out in the streets like them roaches on Bourbon, baby. Stop playing. Wherever the niggas will be is where I shall be too. Baby, the city of New Orleans about to have a time both those months. You better be there because it's about to be a fucking movie and I'm ready. Trust and believe I'm going to either be starring in that movie or I'm definitely going to be a supporting role. Don't play.
Let me give y'all the warning before you come to the city of New Orleans for Mardi Gras, you heard me? Everything is sectioned off. Don't be all back there in Bourbon, French Quarters, looking for something, and then you run into something else, you hear me? Because that's how it is in the city. We got witches over here. We got your vampires over there. We got your werewolves over there. Rainbows over there. This over here, you hear me? Like, everything is sectioned off, so it's a place of culture, baby. Don't come over there and you thinking you just about to be dancing, you heard me, drinking your little drink, you heard me, and then next thing you know, you run into something crazy. You better be aware, baby. It's like vortexes down there. Quantum physics is happening down there. You go in one spot and you wound up in the other, you heard me? Mirror dimensions is happening down there. Be careful, bro. Stop thinking everything is cute and, you feel me? Don't come out down here with all that, I promise you, it's gonna be some problems.
I don't give a damn how fun it look. Do not stop and play no bottle games, no top. If they got 2 Skittles under the goddamn top telling you pick which one, don't play none of that shit. It is a scam. You gonna see the shot girls coming up to you, deep throating them shots, trying to put it in your mouth. That shit is not free. Do not get your ass in front of them shot girls thinking you about to take a free shot. No. All of your personal belongings, everything you own in life, put it in your 2 front pockets. Because if it's in your back pocket, it might not be at the back of your pocket by the time you make it to the end of Bourbon Street. You need to find Tropical Island and experience a hand grenade that is a traditional New Orleans drink. You gotta have that. Last but not least, if they start running, don't ask no questions. Bitch, run too.
If I had one complaint about New Orleans, is that there's just nothing to do around here. I feel like the whole city just goes to sleep at 10 p.m. I wish there was some kind of nightlife, you know?
New Orleans is another country. Those people get to drink on the street. They have that cool way of talking.
Yeah.
They got great food.
I'm going there next Friday.
It's dangerous there. Dangerous crime-wise. They're not doing so good with the crime. But as far as like the vibe of the city, man, I know people that just, they swear by it.
Yeah. When I think about how many times me and my jackass friends have gone to Vegas, and you always come home feeling like had. You could spend that same money and go to a place like New Orleans, where there's like a real culture.